Welcome to Geneva, where the mountains rise high above Lac Le Mans. The stage is set for a spectacular Super Sunday.
Go down the road on board that boat.
The Swiss crowds are out in force, passionate and proud. Can Sebastian Schneider claim their home title?
And a big performance for the home team.
Welcome to SailGP.
Welcome to Geneva, and event 10 of what has been a spectacular season thus far. And with just 2 events remaining, the battle for overall points and event wins has reached a major tipping point as the race to the grand final in November is on. Geneva is another first-time venue for SailGP, and there is an enthusiastic sold-out crowd on Super Sunday as the fans line the shore and the race course in hopes of getting a glimpse of their favorite team. Alongside Olympian Stevie Morrison and former GBR athlete Hannah Diamond, I am Todd Harris. This is the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva. 3 races were contested yesterday in light wind, and it was the Bonds Flying Rouge who were the most consistent with race finishes of 4th, 1st, and 3rd to give them a total of 25 points. Emirates GBR are 2nd overall with 23, and the home team Switzerland are currently 3rd with 18. North Star Canada and the Blackfoils of New Zealand round out the top 5. France and Rockwell Racing Denmark are still in the hunt for a top 3 finish and a shot at the event final.
Well, after those 3 races we had out there on the water yesterday, we've got another 2 fleet races for all 12 boats in the race to the final. 10 points if you win, 1 if you're in 10th, none if you're in those back 2. It's all on as we accumulate points with the top 3 boats going to that winner-takes-all event final.
So we are going to get right to the start of racing. Before we do that, we check out all 12 international teams that are ready to go. And right now we check in down on the water with a 4th member of our broadcast team. Here is Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin.
It's a different day in Geneva. Lots of cloud activity around as we're expecting a storm to roll through later this afternoon. This means winds are super changeable. It's around 12 to 22 kilometers per hour from the south and could increase from there. We are expecting it to shift around to the west, so it's going to be a gusty and shifty day racing. Configuration-wise, we've got the light air foils, we've got the high-speed rudders, we've also got the all-purpose 24-meter wing and the large ship at the front. So really our setup for anything. We've also only got 3 people on board today as it's quite light at the moment. And also big news is Brazil had a pre-race incident, so they may or may not make this race. They're trying to do a last-minute repair.
A lot of information from Lisa Darmanin down on the water. So we come down to the minute 10 before the first race, an early start, trying to maximize the wind that we get from Mother Nature on this wind. And there you see the Brazil boat that Lisa was talking about as repairs are trying to be made. And now they are just 1 minute away. So Hannah Diamond, we saw a little bit of light breeze racing yesterday. What do you expect today?
Yeah, I think it looks even trickier than yesterday, to be honest. We've got some patchier breeze, and we learned a lot about the race course yesterday, but the wind's coming slightly more off the land, so it's going to make it even harder for the teams to read what's going on.
Look at this, really pretty gusty here, Todd. And we've seen New Zealand change things up a bit, choosing to lead the fleet back. I think in these gusty conditions, they're hoping for control rather than looking for that miracle run through everyone. Canada look late to me. Bonds Flying Rouge at the top of the line. Well, if they get a gust of wind, they've got a good chance to accelerate in from here. It's going to be a different strategy for all the boats here. Spain, Switzerland, well positioned. And it's all about the wind that we get at the start. There's a good gust on Spain at the moment. That's going to make them a little early from the line. Rockwell, Denmark, well positioned to get a good bit of acceleration here. It's now all about execution for the 3 sailors on board the boat. Rolex pole predictor sits on the Spanish, but can they execute from here? The bows turn to turn and burn on New Zealand as the line goes white. Australia have missed the start at the top end here, shut out by the Spanish. Germany are going to be up and foiling. Rockwell are up and foiling, and expect the Blackfoils to charge in on a faster angle to mark 1.
Nothing, rest.
So the battle to get up on the foils is on as they approach mark number 1. This is race number 4 of the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva, and it is Germany Deutsche Bank that are out in front and foiling.
After 10 seconds.
Beautiful start by the German sailing, silky smooth. The Italians look smooth as well up on the foils. Tricky balancing act. We've got the high-speed rudders on here today, so a lot of lift at the front of the boat, less at the back. Manoeuvres will be very, very difficult. Can Germany keep it smooth?
Eric Kostgarten-Heil in his second season here with Germany. Deutsche Bank has his team out in front, so they kind of control the race right here at Mark 1. Red Bull Italy in second, then you have Rockwell Racing Denmark in third. And look at the teams out the back, Stevie, way on the right side of the corner, Hannah. They are in no man's land.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change around from yesterday where Emirates GBR and the Bonds Flying Rouge was so consistent in getting to that Mark 1 really nicely, so they're going to have a lot of catching up to do.
See the Oracle Cloud here giving us the live speeds, bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and see huge differences. Germany 30 kilometres an hour nearly, Italy under 20, and they're the first two boats. I think it's going to be that kind of day out here today. You could end up well back in the fleet, but if you can find a gust of wind, here you go, Stu Biffle. He's feeling pretty cocky and confident on board that German boat at the moment. See you later to the rest of the fleet, but can they keep picking it together? If you fall into no wind, as Eric's talking about there, this race can turn on its head very, very quickly.
So at the DP World Gate, gate number 2, it is Germany. Deutsche Bank out in front. Red Bull Italy sits in second, and Rockwell Denmark in third. And look at this, the Bonds Flying Rouge, the overall leaders so far in this regatta, Stevie. They are in dead last. They haven't even reached Mark 1 yet.
Yeah, well, you saw what happened there was they got, I don't know if we'll get a replay of that start fairly soon. I'm sure we might do, but the Australian team got themselves in a similar position to Taylor Canfield's American. They were at the top of the line, potential to be shut out. Slingsby said, okay, this race isn't going to be decided entirely on the start. I'm going to back out, not get a black flag, put myself back in the race. Now, he's probably got no chance of catching Germany or Italy. They are very much gone. But if you have a look already, middle of our screen, Australia are pretty much in 7th place already. We're going to get to look back at the start here, Todd. And obviously, my eyes were distracted to the bottom of the line, but we see Australia top of the line here, and they're trying to find a way in, but no, Spain just rotate the boat. There's no room for Australia to dive in there between Spain, so Slingsby, bit of maturity there, decided to bail out and fight the race later on.
And if you weren't with us yesterday, Stevie referred to an incident in which the US SailGP team and Taylor Canfield, similar situation, but they tried to force it in. They received the black flag, and they were DQ'd from that first race. And right now, the Americans, much better start to day number 2, Super Sunday, as the Americans sit in 5th. Germany looks like they have dropped both foils in. It might be Red Bull Italy, Stevie, is going H1 with one hole in the air.
And then it's too far away, the other one, isn't it? It's too far, man. Go straight, go straight. Let's go board up again.
There we go. It's a bit of a last-minute strange decision there for Sehested to think about sailing to the other mark. It's very much a bias towards a left turn here as we see this race to the final, and it's all change at the moment. If Rockwell Denmark can hold here, that would put them ahead of New Zealand. Little reminder for out there today, Todd, if anyone's tied on points, it's the boat that does better in the final fleet race that will get the jump to the final.
Yeah, so really close, but there's plenty left in this race for sure. You can see all the boats lining up who are still going on that downwind leg towards gate 3. That means there's been a bit of a wind shift, and it's making it really easy for the Germans to keep the fleet behind them. But for those in the pack, it's a lot harder because there's a lot fewer overtaking opportunities.
And Hannah, somehow the Bonds Flying Rouge have gone from 11th place now all the way up to 7th place as the wind has dropped off. We talked about the word shifting here. We check in down in the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, what do you know? Where is the water or the air pressure shifting to?
Pressure just on the nose and these ribs.
So we had a big left shift at the start, which is why the teams were getting shut out at the top. And also, no one was able to get down to Mark 1. So whilst the Bonds Flying Rouge started last, they just pointed at Mark 1. Other boats were foiling, and they've had to do another 2 maneuvers just to get round it. So it went really different right at the start of this race. It has dropped off a little bit, and so I'm not expecting too much foiling for the rest of this race.
Yeah, I think what's interesting on a day like today, Todd, is it's so gusty and shifty that the balance between minimising the distance you sailed versus, oh, there's a gust of wind, I can get foiling, this is a big opportunity. But to do that, you normally have to sail more distance. Slingsby kept it calm and just said, okay, maybe they could foil, maybe they can't, but I know that I can sail straight at that mark, minimise the distance, and that move has got him straight up to 6. So it's sometimes not trying to foil these boats and actually just go a little slower, minimise the distance you sail, and overtake an awful lot of boats. And for the Bonds Flying Rouge, that is a huge move because they are well and truly back in the race. Really tight here with Spain. Slingsby's going to want to dominate the left turn. He needs to hold himself down inside the Spanish boat. There will be some disturbed air on board Australia, but I think he's going to be able to dominate a left turn, and that will set him up very well for this next upwind leg.
No lower for...
Yellow circle, that marks the 3 boat lengths from it. So if you're entering that circle on the inside and overlapped, you have the right of way. Spain will be desperate to get into it. Australia desperate to keep the Spanish out of it until they jump into it first. So expect simultaneous moves here, potentially from the 2 boats, or it might be Spain's only option but to roll the dice.
One more fleet race to go after this one, but those are the event standings as it is right now. It will be Australia, Denmark, and New Zealand on 30, 23, 23. As Stevie's point, New Zealand would get the tiebreak over Emirates GBR because they are finishing higher at this point.
That's right, and we can see here there are simultaneous jibes. Everyone very keen to take a left turn, and I can only assume maybe there's that little bit more wind coming down from the right-hand side of the course, turning left, and that's how they head to it. Switzerland look to cut the corner on Los Gallos here, potentially an overtake by the Swiss.
We have room on Spain.
Yes, you do, Seb. There you go. They're on the inside. So Switzerland are entitled to room to round the mark, but the Spanish are a lot faster. So after the mark, Spain are going to be able to really put the pressure on the Swiss.
Bons Flying Rouge about to get as close as you can to that DP World Gate marker as they get around. Spain with the extra speed, as Stevie pointed out, go a little quicker outside Switzerland, and now they will head back. Remember, this is a 6-leg race, and somewhere out on the course, the Germans are already heading back down.
Yeah, the Germans have got a big lead here. I think we've got to remember on a light wind day like today, there's a huge amount of disturbed wind affected by those big wing sails. So yes, Spain are going fast, but they're having to go a lot wider because there's a huge air block in the form of that Australian wind. Wing blocking the wing and disturbing the air. That's really slowing the Spanish up here. But yes, here we go. New Zealand, they've got one hull up in the air. They'll be going fast. Bit of pumping. What does he mean by that, Hannah?
So they're going to try and manipulate the shape of the wing by just easing it and sheeting it on, just to try and accelerate the wind, bring the angle of the wind forward slightly on the boat to help kind of generate their own wind, which is what we see when it's slightly windier, the boats are going faster. But you know, they're doing 19 kilometers an hour and much less. We've got 9 kilometers an hour of wind speed there. So just doing everything they can to get the boat moving as fast as they can down the course.
Okay, so we're going to get to this gate 3 here, so it will be a scoring race. We've reached the minimum distance required for a scoring race.
Stevie down to 4, so at the leeward gate, that looks like it'll be the finish line.
Yeah, nice spot, Todd. That's a great spot. So Rockwell round in 3rd, New Zealand up to 4th, and we can see here Australia have pulled a rabbit from the hack, but it's GBR sat currently in 10th. They really have got some work to do on this last upwind leg, but the big wind shift means that most of the leg is sailed from the left to the right on our screen, and that means it's hard to overtake because the best wind seems to be fixed to one side of the course.
You have to love a little parity, especially here in SailGP. This will be their 4th race in 2 days. It looks like we are in tune with a 4th different winner. We started off with New Zealand winning the Black Foils, then it was the Bons Flying Rouge of Australia winning race 2, and then France winning the final race yesterday. And it looks like Germany Deutsche Bank are on their way to picking up a huge victory, which will catapult them up the board, but maybe not enough to get them into the finals just yet.
One more race in that race to the final, of course, Todd, here.
Yep.
As we can see, the Germans, they look pretty well set for this race, that is for sure. I think the interesting race will be top of our screen. Red Rockwell, Denmark in 3rd, but the Black Foil's about to take a right turn, and I think they'll sail into some good wind here. Now, New Zealand need to overtake Rockwell if they want to be lining themselves up for the top 3 in the current standings. So big moment in the race here. I think the Black Foils are about to sail into some more wind. Rockwell, Denmark, top right-hand corner of our screen, nearly paralleling. They're not making any progress down the course towards the next gate. This could be crucial in the overall here. New Zealand, Black Foils, look like they got wind to me, but can they turn that into a foiling boat?
I think even if they don't, the difference in pressure across the course makes such a big difference in these conditions. So if they can just point a little bit closer down towards that bottom gate, then they're going to be making big gains compared to the boats that turn left.
Yeah, I think just keep low. 112, maybe keep down a little bit.
Well, it is a far cry from what we've seen the last few events in Sassnitz, Germany and Saint-Tropez, France, but right now it does not matter because Germany Deutsche Bank are about 50 meters away from claiming a victory here on Super Sunday at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva. There is the finish line. The leeward gate now becomes the finish. Remember, it's a 16-minute race, and they chop it from 6 legs to 4, and the German fans are happy to see it as they will bring it across, and the Emirates winning moment, the first one on Super Sunday, will go the way of Germany Deutsche Bank and their driver, Eric Kostgarten-Heil.
Yeah, what a brilliant start by the German team there. That was really a huge moment in the race. They got up and foiling on that leg to Mark 1 and they were gone, but it was all perfectly timed for their start there. As we can see, looks like Rockwell Denmark have done quite a nice job. And I think to your point, Hannah, of course, it's important to remember when we have only got 9 8-9 kilometers an hour of wind, an extra 2 kilometers an hour of wind, suddenly an extra 20% more power in the rigs, and it's just crucial if you can find those small differences. Right on the right hand side we can see Burling's New Zealand team. They're making a little progress down that leaderboard. They've definitely got wind. They will have the right of way when they meet Rockwool Denmark, but tactically Sehersted should be able to close out the New Zealand team. New Zealand Blackfoils, they maneuver now. They're going to come back towards Rockwool Denmark. What's going to make things happen? I don't think any of those boats will catch the Italians, but it could be a tight race for third.
Just doing a shoot for it rather than a drive and rebuild. Okay, that's his big bias.
So there are very valuable points still out on the water, as Germany has already crossed the finish line, and now the battle for that second, third, and fourth place. We will start crunching the numbers. This will lead us to the last fleet race of the day, and this is what's going to really get sporty as the Italians, Red Bull literally gets ever closer to that second place finish.
Good work by the Italian crew here. You can see there Carl Langford just staring up. Well, he's not looking up just out of anything. He's trying to look at little telltales, little flying markers on the wings that indicate if there's airflow around that wing. When it's so light, it's easy to eliminate any airflow. If you've got no airflow on your wing, you're just not going to be going very fast.
It's a two-time Olympic gold medalist, four-time NACRA world champion, Red Bull Italy, Ruggero Tito. He brings the boat across, so they officially finish in second place, and we are 4 minutes away from race termination. So the race is on. Get yourself an extra position if you can, and that's exactly what Pete Burling and the Blackfoils are doing as they move into fourth ahead of USA SailGP.
Yeah, well, if that does become an issue, Todd, it always goes back to the last gate that all the boats rounded. So if they get to the finish, of course, that position will be counted. But if the boats are halfway down a leg, it goes back to the last gate. So that would mean that New Zealand would still remain in fourth, as I'm pretty sure they got round there ahead of the United States. But it's tight on this downwind here.
That's going a little faster than us below, but I think we're okay.
Pete Burling and Blair Tuke talking to each other. That was Blair Tuke saying that the Rockwool boat seems to be going a little bit quicker than them at the moment. So it indicates perhaps they're in a bit more wind.
It looks like the US just picked up a little bit more breeze as well there, sailing a little bit kind of more perpendicular to those lines, making better progress down the course.
So Rockwool Denmark, USA SailGP, and the Blackfoils in New Zealand all with one more maneuver to make as the clock ticks down now less than 3 minutes away from race termination.
Yeah, some of these boats definitely aren't going to make it, I'd say. It's going to be tight for Rockwool, Denmark, USA and New Zealand. They might well make this time limit, but unless we get a big gust of wind, you can see good wind on the Spanish boat, top right-hand side of our screen there, but the magic foiling number on the top of the mast we want to see is 28 kilometers an hour. Some way away from that at this point in time, and so for most of the teams at the moment, priorities on finding wind, but I would argue more of the priorities on minimising the distance they sail right now. Can we get a good angle relative to our ladder lines? United States have got that in spades at the moment. Look how fast they're going on board that boat.
On like what, 15, 20?
I think we're close here now.
Okay. Happy?
Voice to Taylor Canfield. He feels they're close to being able to do one more manoeuvre and make the finish. Got that boat going nice and quick.
2, 1, driving now.
He will have the right of way. There they are, they're manoeuvring on board the US. Bottom right-hand corner of our screen. Well positioned here. They're going to come back in with a lot of speed. I think they will have overtaken the New Zealand team. They've got good wind at the moment. Should be past the Blackfoils, but Rockwool don't have right of way. Can they keep enough speed to make it through the line ahead?
Race termination in about 93 seconds. It looks like Rockwool Denmark's going to make it in. USA Stevie also looked pretty good. Not sure about the Blackfoils. I'm not sure I'd place a wager on that one.
No, I wouldn't think today is any kind of day for wagers of any form, Todd, to be perfectly honest with you. This is going to be very, very hard to predict. Rockwool have done a nice job. They're going to bring it across the finish line in third. United States, well, they will be well set for fourth, and it's going to be a place lost on this downwind leg for the Blackfoils, and it's a day where you can't afford to lose many places, because I think that means it will put Rockwool Denmark at 1 point ahead of them before, we hope, a fifth qualifying race for all the fleet out here on the water in Geneva.
Can I turn more, Michael?
Let's keep turning. Hold ready to turn.
Nice downwind leg by the US team there, Todd. That was a little place gain. Played his game of chess very nicely there, Taylor Canfield.
Copy, you can drive over. Yeah.
So the Americans come across the line in 4th place on the first race on Super Sunday, officially race number 4, and right behind them it is the Black Foils of New Zealand. It looks like that will be the last boat to cross in under termination time, as we are now 20 seconds away. But the big news is on the first race of the day here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva, it is Germany Deutsche Bank that claimed the first race win. Red Bull Italy finished in 2nd, and Rockwell Denmark finished in 3rd, with USA SailGP finishing in 4th place. So the race has now been officially terminated. All the rest of the teams now can head back, get themselves into the position for the start of the next race. We're going to try to turn things around quickly and maximize what weather we do have. And if the wind does come in, of course, Lisa Darmanin will give us the latest news as we go down on the water. And we will congratulate Germany Deutsche Bank as they get the win. Eric, congratulations to you guys. You somehow found an opening. You somehow found win. What was it like out there on the course between the first 2 legs and the last 2 legs?
Yeah, it's changing quite a bit here. Now it's nothing anymore on the race course, and it was super nice actually to get foiling and to get the boat going in the beginning. And we thought this is our racing for today, but now it looks very different, and yeah, stays very challenging for us.
Stuart, you sounded full of a lot of confidence on that first win, saying goodbye to the rest of the fleet. How easy is it on a day like today to actually be sure of what's going to happen next on the race course? You're 4th now. How sure are you of making that final?
Come on, Stevie, you know me better than that. I'm not one to get ahead of myself, but it was yeah, really nice to get the first jibe in and foiling down to the bottom. And we saw yesterday, that's in a pretty strong position when you do that. So yeah, really good learnings from last night, and obviously you saw a lovely start from Eric.
Back to you, Eric. What are you guys hearing as far as the weather conditions over the next 60 minutes? Are we going to get a breeze, put it in there, and do you guys feel pretty confident that you'll be able to get this next race off?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we hope. I hope the wind is now shifting a little back to the right and fills in again, and then we hopefully get better conditions. Yeah, we need another race.
Eric, Coast Guard and Heil, and Stuart Biffle, thank you so much for your time. And Stuart should know, Stevie, you're always listening. Come on.
We try and keep listening, Todd, but great race by the Deutsche Bank team there.
So let's take a look at the standings after 4 races here. It is Super Sunday. It's still the Bonds Flying Roos on top. Somehow, Tom Slingsby salvages some valuable points. Remember, they started in 11th place and they finished in 6th. Emirates GBR sit in 2nd, Rockwell Racing in 3rd, and look at the logjam in 4th with Germany Deutsche Bank, Black Foils, and Switzerland all still in the hunt to make the top 3.
And we look back at some of the highlights from this last race. We can see at the top end of the screen, the bottom end of the line, that's where the leaders from Mark 1 were able to hit the line with speed, with Deutsche Germany able to get up on the foils. And from there, they were almost doubling the boat speed of the boats around them to take a huge lead at Mark 1 and sail off around the course. From here, it was easy for them to pick up a way around the course without getting into too much trouble. But the big kind of story from the middle of the fleet was that the Australians had a really bad start and they were able to pick back to 7th, which is something they're showing again and again that they're able to do.
Yeah, I think so. They just seem to be doing a good job of knowing when to minimise the distance out there on the water. And it was such a tricky day so far, wind-wise, that they took the decision, we're not going to get foiling. Our only option here is to minimise distance. And yeah, Slingsby's done that in 3 out of 4 races. And at the moment, it's got him pretty well set for the final, but it'll be interesting to see if he can actually find a good start looking ahead to the next race.
Yeah, that's right. And without many overtaking opportunities, Deutsche Bank Germany just were able to sail away to take the win in this race, really close up the scores at the top of the leaderboard.
That was the Emirates winning moment, the Emirates Fly Time Award, and there was some actual foiling, 21%, but they got the job done. They got the whole shot at mark number 1 and were never challenged after that, as the victory goes to Germany Deutsche Bank with the win. Well, a beautiful day here in Geneva at the Rolex SailGP Championship, and we are 1 race away from the event final here on Loch Lomond. Who will get in a top 3 position? We're about to find out.
Oh, it looks like pure drama out there, doesn't it? It's an absolutely perfect race course.
Out in the start box, and it'll be all on as they will be racing to mark number 1.
Angle, but Contant de la Pierre back with a bang. I think he will be able to hold on the inside. So what we're witnessing here is pure boat speed. Oh, a little bit loose, putting on a show for the fans there.
Tini Grail and Butler Brazil win race number 4.
The Bond Flying Roos are flying too high there. Bottine again out of the gun like a bullet. This is the tussle though, it's the battle to the final.
Too close!
It's gonna crash! Oh,
We got a collision!
and could be a capsize! Oh, they managed to...
And at mark number 1, it is Rockwell, Denmark, as they get the whole shot, and they go over 103!
Oh, what a moment! Fastest speed in SailGP.
Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Super Sunday here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix, Geneva. Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darman, and Todd Harris with you as we get ready for the final fleet race. Before we do that, though, we want to revisit the standings because it has been a topsy-turvy, especially in race number 4. You look at some of these teams that were really in the hunt, Stevie, and then they've given themselves. Shocking to see Emirates GBR put up a 10th, but they are still in 2nd place, and an 11th from Canada North Star, a 9th from the French. So it's really bunched everyone up, especially in the middle.
Yeah, it's that kind of event, really. It's so hard to be consistent because it's so hard to predict what the wind's doing and so hard to execute good starts when the wind's so variable. I mean, Australia are there by the skill of their ability around the racecourse, not their starting, but yeah, everyone else has been sort of doing a fairly average job, scrapping. It's been a bit of a Street Fighters event.
So one more fleet race to go, and then the field will be cut to just the top 3 teams on points. And Emirates GBR is going to need a big showing here. And just a short time ago, Lisa Darman and down on Loch Lomond had a chance to catch up with their driver. Here's Lisa with Dylan Fletcher.
Dylan, it's so tough out here. How hard was that race?
Yeah, you know, not our finest race. We got the start wrong and sort of no opportunities back, with it sort of being non-foiling for most of it. So hopefully we can get a better start in this next one and get us into that final.
It looks like we're going to wait a little bit for wind out here, but how much are you looking around to try find? How hard is it to find the wind?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. We were sat out here for an hour before and it's been absolutely glamour. So fingers crossed the breeze pulses back in and we get some good racing.
And obviously we've got a different setup with the foils today. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're not foiling, but how hard is it to power up this wing in these light conditions?
Yeah, it's a bit different today, very different with the rudders, so some different settings, and it's our first time using them, so there's plenty of learning going on as ever.
I will let you get set for the next race. Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks.
And as Dylan pointed out, SailGP powered by nature, and sometimes Mother Nature just a little bit finicky, so we're waiting for the wind to fill in for race number 5. Well, week in and week out, these athletes are pushing themselves to the limit to give them an edge over their competitors. Physically, no one on the boat pushes themselves harder than the grinders. They are known for possessing superhuman endurance to allow them to power the wing constantly throughout racing. But just how much does it take to perform above and beyond what is considered the highest level?
The Swiss team made their first event final in Portsmouth since entering the league, something they've achieved after an improved crew list, including former Emirates GBR grinder Matt Gottrom. He's no stranger to being at the limit of human performance, having won Olympic gold as a rower back in 2016.
The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Swiss.
Saturday, moving down to 5 crews, bit of a challenge for the whole crew really, just to kind of deal with both. It's a responsibility for me as an athlete to be able to deliver my best performance.
Matt tested his physicality and endurance at the Cardiff Met University's Sports Testing Lab.
Physiological testing is basically looking under the bonnet. How does an athlete do what they do?
Matt was put through an elite aerobic profiling test on the grinding machine. It pushed him from gentle warm-up to complete exhaustion, all while tracking power, heart rate, lactate and oxygen use. Taking blood samples at regular intervals during the test, the maximum amount of oxygen Matt's body can take in, transport and use during intense exercise is measured.
Great stuff, come on, all the way, all the way.
At his peak, Matt hit a VO2 max of 57 millilitres of oxygen per kilogram per minute, which is a massive 45% more than the average male.
So there's definitely a big training component to this, but at the same time you need to have long levers, you need to be strong and powerful, because you can have all the endurance in the world, but actually the absolute power outputs that Matt's producing are very, very high, and that you couldn't just take someone off the street and be able to do what Matt does. It takes both genetics and a lot of training as well.
None of these things happen quickly or overnight. You've really got to put the hours in. It's a classic saying, isn't it, in sport, you train hard, race easy. So the stuff you do behind the scenes that no one sees, that's where the hard miles are earned.
And I think it's just the professionalism around it, how he trains, how he eats, how he drinks, how he prepares. Just his mindset is great to have on board.
Back in Geneva on Super Sunday, still waiting for Mother Nature to fill in the course just a little bit more before we run the 5th and final fleet race. Well, after a quick turnaround from last weekend's event in Saint-Tropez, there hasn't been too much free time for the teams when they aren't training. Let's catch up with the athletes and what they've been doing off the water. And as SailGP continues its unique mission to do good for the planet, well, that has taken the home team Switzerland to dizzying new heights.
We'll be presenting this aircraft, which is a flight trainer, flying electric, 100% electric. It's also clean, of course, no CO2. But what's special with this airplane is that from next year, it's going to fly at flight schools to train the future pilots on electric airplane.
SailGP, as a league, we're really trying to limit to the max our impact on the environment wherever we go. And I think it's really nice to see what are the challenges in aviation and compared to our challenges we have in sailing, and try to be as sustainable as possible.
The SailGP boats, they develop the technology of the future. We do the same, but for airplanes.
So the batteries?
They are in this part on both sides, so the aircraft is well balanced. I'm sure you know drag and lift.
Yeah. Funny, because like the wings of the airplane actually have a really similar design to our wings on the F-50s. The shape of the wing that we can change quite a bit. The way they talk about adding lift and drag and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's obviously exactly the same on the F-50. Nice.
What I can propose for you is to sit in the airplane.
Nice.
We're excited because we have these two technologies on the ground, on the sea and in the air, presented at the same time and aiming for the same, with the same objective, which is to make our world more efficient. So that's a very exciting moment. And our goal is to bring this type of aircraft, this type of solutions, electric propulsion, to everyone. Well, for me, it's an incredible moment because first flying this aircraft in Switzerland over the Lake of Geneva is very special. But having under me all these boats flying as well, because they use basically similar techniques, tremendous.
And for those of you scoring at home, it looks like this on the leaderboard. Get your abacus out and crunch some numbers with us. This is very tight. Remember, it's just the top 3 teams on points. So, by my math, Stevie and Hannah, the Bonds Flying Roos are not a complete lock, but they're very close.
Yeah, I think they've got to just avoid being sort of out of those last couple of places, and they should be okay. Easier said than done, right. I'd say that. I think the interesting one for me is Los Gallos, sat in 9th there, 15 points. Now, they really, really need a big result here in the big hunt for the grand final. They're going to have to win the race. If they win the race, they give themselves a chance. Not a lot of a chance, but a bit of a chance. And yeah, black foils, Rottwell, Denmark, Switzerland, any of that, it's whoever beats whoever. So it's going to be pretty exciting in the battle to get to that final hand.
Yeah, and I think on kind of another level as well, for Germany Deutsche Bank, they finished 5th and 4th in the last 2 events. They're 4th currently at the moment, 1 point of making the final. So while not for the overall standings, it's a big race coming up for them potentially.
Waiting for Mother Nature to fill the course in with a little more breeze, and as always, there is a race off the water well here at SailGP. Let's catch up with what the athletes have been doing to promote the league's sustainability mission as SailGP continues its unique podium for the planet. SailGP, powered by Mother Nature.
The Impact League is SailGP's podium for the planet, a prestigious season-long competition that rewards teams for taking action to protect the planet and making sailing more inclusive. The winner of the third focus area to address climate change in communities or ecosystems was won by North Star SailGP team with their community eelgrass restoration initiative, where 45 young sailors undertook the largest eelgrass planting off the shores of Canada. Planting this much eelgrass will help capture 23 tons of carbon per year and create a habitat for coastal ocean species. The Blackfoils came second with their approach to protecting the Hauraki Gulf, and Emirates GBR in third for their youth-focused social network approach to renewable energy. In the overall Impact League, North Star Canada lead the way on 336 points, Emirates GBR on 335, and Mubadala Brazil with 316.
So letting the drama build just a little bit more and waiting for Mother Nature to fill in the pressure so we can give you the very best final fleet race of the day, and then only the top 3 teams on points will race in the final. Well, here on Lake Geneva, there have been plenty of drama off the water and on as well. SailGP has been making waves with the news Friday that 12 teams will become 13, with the addition of yet another top-level international squad.
With precious few races left until we crown a champion, Season 5 has been the most competitive year of racing to date. 12 teams have battled it out in tight, fast, action-packed contests. But with a new season already on the horizon, the competition just got tougher with the announcement of a 13th team led by a familiar face.
We're here to announce the Artemis SailGP team, which I'll be skippering, and really excited to be back into SailGP for next season. So we'll join the league at the start of Season 6, so the first event for us will be in Perth.
Artemis Racing has been around for 15 odd years now and always been at the top of the sport. Artemis SailGP team has 2 real goals, commercial and sporting. On the sporting front, you know, we're all come from that history and is to be right there at the top. I mean, right from day one is Nathan's charge. But it's also, I think, important for us and for our ownership that this is successful commercially. I think having a sailing that's self-generating, bringing in top brands, growing viewership is so important for our sport. The more we can get this in front of the next generation, show the excitement of our sport, the more people are going to join in and enjoy.
It's definitely an element of unfinished business for myself. I was with SailGP from the beginning. You know, I was running the Japanese team. I've come second twice in the championship. And then, you know, I haven't really had a good opportunity come up since then. But now with this opportunity with Artemis, I feel like we're in a really strong position to mount a challenge. For me, it's the culture that we had at that team in the Bermuda Americas Cup. We were a massive family unit there. So, you know, to be given an opportunity to come back to the Artemis family and to be driving the boat at SailGP is a huge honor for me and something I'm really excited about.
Oh, best seat in the house. Fastest speed in SailGP ever. And what a moment. Oh, this is huge here.
So 2 observations here, Stevie and Hannah. First of all, I gotta think a day like today would certainly fit the man nicknamed the Wind Whisperer, and there's a lot of sailors out there that are frothing to join the Artemis squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the strongest sailing teams in the world, as they alluded to. I mean, Nathan's, you know, probably the best sailor in the planet that's not here, not racing in this league, so it's great that he's back. And, you know, Ian Percy is CEO. I mean, that's a pretty strong starting point to have. So, yeah, who are they going to go and buy is what I want to know. Who's going to get on that team with them?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. Like you say, such strong pedigree within this kind of racing, and Nathan's going to have a bit of catching up to do. He's been out of the league for a couple of years, but I think, you know, wing trimmer, flight controller, they're going to have to start getting those positions sorted. So I'm sure there'll be some really interesting talks going on behind the scenes. So we're going to have to keep our ears to the ground and see what we hear with regards to who they're going to pick up to make that team as strong as possible when they first get on the start line for season 6.
Artemis Racing will join the league for season 6 as we kick things off in Perth in January 2026. Well, still waiting for a little bit more breeze to blow in here on Lake Geneva here in Switzerland. There are the current standings as they are right now, with one more fleet race still scheduled. But as you can see, it is very calm out there, very light on the breeze. What are we going to do? We're powered by nature. We're going to go down and check in with Lisa Darmanin, who's on the water with Nikolai Sehested.
Nikolai, well done in that last race. Third, you're third overall, but it's pretty nerve-wracking out here.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky, I think, getting that race in. There was some breeze in the beginning of it, and we got sailing, and now there's nothing. I mean, we basically can't move at the moment, so we're a little bit unlucky. Hopefully something will come in, but it doesn't look too good right now with the clouds and everything.
When it's so light like that, it's just such a different style of sailing. How do you get the most out of the F50?
We focus a lot on the start, trying to get off the line and get out in the front. It makes life a lot easier, and it was the same yesterday. We were happy to take some risk in the starts, and this weekend it paid off for us, and hopefully we can do that in the last race if we do one more now. But it's all about getting out the front, and then life becomes easy. Or not easy, but at least you have clear lanes and clear breeze. If you're down in the pack, jibing and tacking on boats, it's really, really difficult.
Well, good luck. Hopefully you can get out in front and stay in front.
No, thanks, guys.
And our thanks to the Flying Viking, Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell Denmark Racing, hoping to get another race. They are currently in third place. That would get them into the event final, but we are waiting for Mother Nature to bring some breeze so we can continue on Super Sunday here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva.
SailGP is proud to partner and deliver the Emirates Ocean Impact projects across the Rolex SailGP Championship. Here in Geneva, ahead of racing, the teams took part in an incredible citizen science project.
This one was a bit more of a challenge.
So Le Mans Scope is a citizen science project. So the main objective is really to raise awareness among the public about the challenges facing Lake Geneva and the importance of preserving its water quality. From satellite images, we can monitor water quality, but we need ground data, reliable ground data, to validate satellite models. And this is where citizen science comes and plays a crucial role. Doing this on a long-term basis will help us to better understand the challenges. So climate change will, of course, have an influence on the quality of the water.
The grant from the Emirates Ocean Impact Project will help with L'Explorers Lab in Lake Geneva with critical maintenance and new scientific equipment.
Being a sailor, I think we are always constantly surrounded by water. I grew up obviously sailing on lakes in Switzerland. I think it's really important just to make sure the oceans and the lakes stay clean, and then do everything we can as well to keep it healthy and really be part of saving kind of the ecosystem that goes around it.
I'd want SailGP to be a platform to connect these projects. They try to involve the local society and stuff, but I think it needs a much bigger voice, and that's where SailGP comes into.
All right.
Athletes are citizens as well, and it's all our responsibility to look after our natural resources.
Well, I think science have, anticipated a few things that maybe we don't want to see. I think it's being ignored quite frequently, and I think it's louder and louder. So until when we're gonna ignore it, It is our home, right?
Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Delayed racing on Lac Le Mans here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva as we wait for Mother Nature to hopefully build some pressure and we can unleash these beautiful F50 flying machines. Right now, we're going to take you back to yesterday's action here in Geneva. It was race number 3 to close out an amazing day of racing on Saturday. So, as they all get themselves into position, all the teams look to be ready to go. Stevie, this is a big opportunity for teams in the back of the pack right now.
Yeah, I just had a massive incident, it looked like, between Italy and Brazil there. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but look at this. The Italians trying to push around the front of Brazil. And, oh, I mean, look how close the rudders. It's completely unnecessary, really. Clearly a late-minute change of plan there. We're going to be on Brazil now, watching it happen. Brazil have the right of way. Italy are just rolling over the front. It's Italy's choice. And Martini felt like she needed to keep clear and very close to knocking the rudders off the back of that Italian boat. Oh, well, that was a bit dramatic for 1:30 before the start. Todd, once again, bottom left-hand corner of our screen, black foils got some space. Most of the boats look like they're further down the line. I think the right-hand side of our screen, the windward end of the start line, is going to be a little more open than we've seen. Black foils, well, they're up and foiling. We've seen they've got one really right, one really wrong so far out there today. So what's Berlin got lined up for us today? He's foiling, he's got some space, he's going to come charging around the outside, and I think it'll be De La Pierre in the French boat, also up and foiling. The Rolex pole predictor sits on the black foils, but he's going to have to thread an eye through the needle here because he's got a lot of work to do to get a gap in this fleet. Middle of the line's favoured, all about finding a gap for the black foils, all about acceleration for the Danish, for the Spanish and for the Germans. I think the black foils are going to be too late. Emirates GBR are up and foiling potentially at the bottom of the line as well. The black foils, can they poke through and stay on the foils? It's a splanket here, Todd. Look how many boats are absolutely neck and neck with each other. The black foils are still foiling. France are foiling. Canada are foiling. Mark 1's coming really quick. And it's Emirates GBR who are going to be on the inside. And I think the black foils might just cling on and get round in the top 3 as well. But France is pressing over the top of them.
Here we go at mark number 1, and they do it NASCAR style. 3 wide as they come around.
It's the French, they've gone so fast on that first leg, Todd. They need a good result here, France, because they're well back in the mid-fleet, but it's brilliant from the French. Another consistent one from Emirates GBR and Canada, another team in need of a big result.
A really high-risk start from the French there, but it's obviously paid off as they led at Mark 1.
And you see the Bonds Flying Rouge, 12th at the moment, so they are the current leaders, but they're right back in the pack, and we see the black foils getting rolled over by 1, 2, 3, 4 boats at the moment. So it's all about sticking these foiling manoeuvres. The lead 2 boats, well, no surprise there. They're out in clear wind. They've done a really nice job. But for Emirates Great Britain, can they cling on relative to the German team? And the black foils, well, they're not foiling right now. They're losing places quickly.
Well, France could use a big amount of points here because they finished 6th in race number 1, and then they followed that up with an 11th in race number 2. For Canada, it hasn't been a great day either. Race number 1, they go 8th place, and they back that up in the second race with that penalty, getting 6th.
Looks like the wind's rotated. The wind looks like it might have rotated a long way round off the shore here, Lisa. A lot of boats may be taking some extra manoeuvres on this first downwind.
Been moving around quite a lot, but I still think getting to that shore, there's a little bit of a funnel. Everyone that has done that immediate jibe is basically coming back the way that they came from. So it's really, really tough out here. Canada's looking very free down the bottom now.
Yeah, they're in a lot of wind on that same side of the course. The Australians, who are right at the back of the pack, I think they've just fallen off the foils. They were potentially up to 5th, 6th position there. It's absolute chaos out there on the water right now. The black foils are nearly going upwind. Australia have made a huge gain. France and Canada are a long, long way out in the lead here. It's going to be a straight battle for the race victory with them. But here we are. We're on board the black foils. They're having to go back towards the shore. Another manoeuvre.
Already, eh?
Oh, they're really struggling to get going. The black foils here, this is going to be painful for them. As Slingsby, well, he's last all the way up to 5th in about 200, 300 metres of racing.
Worth noting, the race does have a duration time of 16 minutes max, and you see Emirates GBR, Hannah, they are almost not dead still, but 13 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, you see they're starting to split the weight, so some of the crew are on one side, a lot of the crew are on the other side, so makes the manoeuvres a little bit harder because you've got to choreograph who's going to do which of those roles on board. But equally, it means that you don't have the option to see the tactical software, which is on a TV screen at the bottom of the wing. So they're really sailing by feel in these conditions. When the boat speed gets down as low as 8 kilometers an hour, actually really hard to just get the boat to turn through the water.
Really hard, but the French, they've stayed foiling this whole while, which there must have been a little bit more wind offshore, actually. So the left turn at the bottom, massive gain to the French. Sounded like Dylan Fletcher had spotted that as well. The British are in third. Could he come away with 3 third places on one day? Well, I expect he'd probably take that if we offered that to him right now. Australia up to 4th. New Zealand have dropped back to 8th, and Los Gallos, well, they need a miracle now because they have to get a good result to stay in the game. And we see their foiling time. Well, France, 85%, 85 beats 50, and that's what we're seeing on the race course at the moment.
Meanwhile, at the other end of the course, it is the French who are up and foiling, and they are way out in front. We're talking 300-400 meters away. But as we know, Stevie, they could find themselves in a hole here as they make the turn to come back downwind.
Yeah, I mean, just how silky that maneuver was. There's obviously quite good breeze up there at the moment. If they're lined up for the gate at the top here, which I think they will be from that last maneuver, they'll be heading off downwind, and I just don't see anyone can catch. Their biggest problem is going to be they're going to meet most of the rest of the fleet at the next gate. They're going to almost be lapping a lot of the fleet, and that could be the moment they get caught up in the traffic. Look, traffic jam at the bottom of the course.
But for right now, it is a beautiful thing for the French team in Content de la Pierre, the winners of Sassnitz. They are at 54 kilometers an hour, and other teams at 9, 14, 11. Ooh, carnage.
Yeah, it's pretty slow out there. Germany's done a nice job. They've got themselves into the match there. Australia, well, this is a rabbit from a hat from Slingsby. He's absolutely saved himself here. They were disastrous at the start. On board the German team here, they could do with a good result as well. They'll be looking to find that wind. They're heading to where the French had more wind. You can see on the right-hand side of our screen, Rubadla, Brazil, the black foils, Los Gallos, they're heading in towards the shoreline. So it's going to really come down to where the most wind is. Germans seem to like what they've got on that side of the course.
Yeah, France is going to lap some people as they come flying in the center of your screen. The French are in first place as they approach this gate, and then they'll head back up, where the other teams have yet to go back up again. So the Americans, the Danes, the Italians, all in jeopardy of getting lapped by Content de la Pierre and the French.
Yeah, just a short upwind leg for the French. He might well choose to keep it simple here and take a right turn, keep himself in space. Nearly a leg lead at the moment, as you said. I mean, that's a massive advantage he's got over the Canadians at the moment. Just shows you the difference if you stay foiling there. He laps the Americans as he rounds gate 4. America are rounding gate 2 for them. So here we go. 2 more good maneuvers for the French, and this will be a determined, dominant victory.
And I guess the question, if you're watching at home, Hannah, and you're not really familiar with sailing, I guess people are wondering, how are the French able to do that and the other teams can't find that win?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where if you can sail in breeze, which is fresh coming down from the city, and keep the boat up on the foils, then you're generating enough wind to then stay up on the foils. As soon as you start mixing with the other boat, the wing sails create a lot of disturbed wind. So the closer you are to other boats, the harder it is to accelerate. We're seeing a couple of boats get up and foiling on this upwind leg now. So we've got the Spanish in the middle of the course and the boats on the right-hand side of the screen. Just about generating enough speed to get up on the foils, but it won't be enough to get anywhere near the French.
Yeah, I got it.
On board North Star Canada.
Okay, so it's now to finish, isn't it?
Okay. See Charles, he's got his head on a swivel there, trying to look for the breeze, trying to remember where he's going. It's pretty confusing when you've got all these other boats on different legs of the course. Nice, smooth round up there.
2, 1. Board down. 2, 1, lock. Turning. Foiler. Yeah.
Try and stay full and watch the right-hand hull there, right-hand side of our screen. Does it stay clear? It does. Beautiful manoeuvre there by the Canadians, lovely and smooth. They'll be happy. They've just got to get to this next mark. I don't think they'll be able to challenge the French, but they're going to cement a very, very good final race of the day here. The big races in the pack, right-hand side of our screen. Germany are in 5th. Australia 4th are up and foiling as well, and the black foils, well, they were so good coming into the Mark 1, but they're back in 10th. This could really hurt them. Los Gallos in 6th place at the moment. They need a good result. It's going to play havoc with the overall results here, but it's really, really up and down. There's a battle for 3rd, Australia against Emirates Great Britain, and it's, yeah, can you map your way around the course? There's going to be a lot of disturbed air out there right now.
Yeah, and disturbed air makes it just so much harder to keep the boat moving, but also it really plays into your strategy, because do you choose to drop the hull in the water so that you can take a shorter course to the next mark? And just Australia going behind the Canadians on their final upwind leg there. But the Brits here, they're not quite laying. If they jibe now, they're going to have to sail quite low to get to that gate mark if they want to put off a foiling jibe.
And all the chaos is in the rear view mirror of the French. Quentin Delapierre and team coming up to the finish line here slowly, but they have a massive lead. And the Emirates winning moment in race number 3 at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva goes the way of the French. After a dominant performance in Sassnitz, they come back here in Lake Geneva and put on a great show in the 3rd race of the day.
Good bit of a pep talk from Jason Saunders there. Much better, guys. Good start, Contan. A little bit of positivity coming in the Canadians as well. This is 2 teams getting first 2 boats here really, really needing good results after a pretty tough day out there. But I think that'll mean it's all on in a big fight out there tomorrow. It's going to really tighten the fleet up with New Zealand back in 9th. Rockwool, Denmark, they were doing well as well in 10th. So there's plenty going on the water here. Where's Emirates, Great Britain?
Nice work.
Obviously in a tight battle with the Australians.
Stevie, quick check of the math there. I've got France finishing race number 1 as 6th. Then they fell down to 11th. So a 6, 11, and a 1. For Canada, the news isn't great. They got an 8th place. Then they dropped back to 6th and a 2nd. So Canada's going to be in the hunt for a possible top 3 finish going into Super Sunday. So well done, Giles Scott, as he brings across North Star Canada. They will officially finish in 2nd place. And now the battle is on. Who is going to find any kind of breeze? Because right now it is a drift fest. You see the left side of your screen, Emirates GBR, they are currently in 3rd, but here come the Bons Flying Rouge, the Black Foils. They'll all be battling for position.
Yeah, it's all about whether or not the British have found more wind. They've got a lot of space and they're quite well away from other boats in the fleet. So this manoeuvre, they're going to definitely not be not even on the foil. So it's going to be a straightforward manoeuvre. Turn the boat, then can they get back up and foiling? There seems to be less wind. Swiss were foiling coming downwind a minute ago, but there's not a lot of breeze. Now this is crucial for the British. If they don't foil, then potentially the Australians will overtake them.
So less than 6 minutes away from the race being terminated, and there is the race. It is on. There you see the Bons Flying Rouge currently in 4th. Emirates GBR making nice progress. They've got to get to that mark, and then that slight left-hand turn to the finish line in the distance.
19 kilometres an hour. They need to be nearer 28 if they've got any hope of foiling. So I don't see that's possible. British need to aim a little bit more at the Australians here. Accelerate the boat. Try and make it hard for the Bons Flying Rouge. Here you go, the Bons Flying Rouge right now. Australia are going to be very, very slow for a moment here. Can Emirates Great Britain stay over the top? Right of way with the Australians.
Hannah, is this a condition with Emirates possibly putting on some dirty air onto the wing of the Australians?
Well, they're going to need to move forwards if that's something they want to do, but you can see they're committing to H1 here with just 1 hull lifting, because we've got Luke Parkinson, who's in that front cockpit. He can lean back and change the rake of the board, but both teams really trying to eke every kilometre an hour they can out of the boats in this last leg.
Australians have done a nice job there.
I think we can go board
really nice job. They accelerated pretty well there and managed to cement that position. Big comeback. They were last at Mark 1 on board the Bons Flying. That's 2 races in a row where he's pulled a rabbit from a hat out there today. Definitely going fast in these light winds on this Australian boat.
If you feel this board, let's go for it. In minus there, we have.
Well, you think about these conditions that they faced today, Han and Stevie, and for the Australians to come out and get a 4th, a 1st, and possibly a 3rd, that's a great day.
Huge day, yeah. And I think what's really interesting for me is how well a lot of the teams, but Australia seem to be really leading it. They're using the board that normally would be stowed up in the boat to minimise drag. They're pushing that down to lift the hull up. Definitely a new technique that we're seeing with these T-foils here. Australia really going well with it, and what a result that is to get a 3rd there.
Rolling up here.
So finishing in a podium position on the day, the Bons Flying Rouge wrap up their day with a 3rd place just behind France and North Star Canada. So a master class there by Tom Slingsby, as Stevie pointed out. They somehow salvaged dead last positions at mark number 1 and turned them into top 5 positions. Emirates GBR will finish in 4th place, so the 3rd and final race looks like this: France, Canada, Australia, and Britain.
Copy. It felt like we had it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Can't be too disappointed, though, if you're Dylan Fletcher. I mean,
No.
3, 3, and 4.
Yeah, totally, Todd, and they really got pretty well off the start line, so I don't think they, Slingsby, yes, he sailed brilliantly, but you could have quite easily not had the opportunities that came up. He wasn't really controlling his own destiny. He took advantage of every situation he got amazingly, but the British were just always solid at Mark 1 and just sailed solid races. So I think they'll come away from it feeling pretty happy with how their starting is going, because you can compare that to a lot of the other teams that just couldn't consistently get off the start line.
No, jibe or
And Germany Deutsche Bank will come in with a respectable 4th place finish for them. Again, they finished in, what was it, 7th place in race 2, and then in race number 1, the Germans finishing down the pack in 9th position. So they bring it home and they cross the line. And now everyone starts thinking about Super Sunday and what the weather's going to be like. We'll check in with Lisa Darmanin before we say goodbye, but there is the scene on Lac Le Mans here in Geneva, Switzerland.
And then
another team, Stevie, that really needs some points in a big-time way.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for the defending champions, hasn't it? I think, you know, they're sort of not really getting to grips with these light conditions. They definitely seem to favour a little bit more breeze. Definite foiling conditions seems to really suit them. And I think, yeah, when we thought about there being a top 4, then they really need to come out tomorrow filing. I mean, again, there's so many points flying around out there today. We can see New Zealand are currently in 11th place. New Zealand have had an average one, they've had a very good one, and then they're having a very poor one here. So New Zealand are probably going to find themselves out of that top 3 right now, and it's going to be a real scrap to make that final race tomorrow.
7, 8, and 6 for Spain. It looks like they will bring it across, but I think the big shocker, Stevie, as you talked about, has got to be the black foils. I mean, where they're sitting and what they did, winning race number 1, having a pretty solid second race, and finishing in 5th, and then they are way in the back of the pack, 11th right now.
Yeah, what's interesting, I think, as well, is I think if you're first or second at Mark 1, that almost guarantees you a good race, but 3rd all the way back to about 9th, you can just end up in a complete melee, Hannah.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, this course is not particularly long, so with the boats really interacting with each other, we've seen quite often the front boat is able to make it all the way around and lap some of the boats at the back. So that fleet's just condensing. Once you're in the middle of the pack, it's really hard to make decisions, really hard to find any space to be able to get the boat up and foiling and build any speed to make any gains at all.
So Diego Botín brings it across the finish line as they get a nice finish, their best on the day. The Season 4 winners, Olympic gold medalists, and Sailor of the Year in 2024. We turn our attention now to the winners of race number 3. It is Quentin Delapierre and the French team. Well done indeed. So the good news is Mother Nature has brought in a little more pressure, so we are getting ourselves ready for fleet race number 5. There are the scores. We bring you up to speed. Live racing here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva with the Bonds Flying Roos in control, 6 points clear of Emirates GBR and Rockwell Racing. Remember, after this race, it's only the top 3 teams that will race off. So right now it is Germany Deutsche Bank, Blackfoil, Switzerland that are on the outside looking in. And with the Bonds Flying Roos firmly in control, want to find out what they're thinking. So it was just a short time ago. Lisa Darmanin speaking with Chris Draper.
Chris, this is just part of sailing, obviously waiting for wind, but that last race, every point was going to count for you guys.
Yeah, it was. We had a bit of an unfortunate situation. It's so hard trying to judge the starts when you're switching between whether you think you're going to be foiling or whether you think you're going to be H1 into the line. And we just got a little nudge of pressure that just got us there a tiny bit earlier than we hoped. And yeah, so it was a really good comeback for the team. Like, we did a good job on that first downwind. So that's, yeah, like you say, every point counts.
Wing trimming is quite challenging, I guess, in this. What are you doing to try and get the most out of this wing?
Well, when we're both hulls in the water downwind like we were in that race, it's almost completely the opposite to when it's breezy. You're bringing the wing down to leeward to try and keep flow across it, and you're kind of flirting with trying to stall the wing versus keep as much power in it as possible. It's really tricky. So it's definitely one of the hardest times to sail the boats, to be honest. And you've got loads of time, but it feels like at the time you haven't. We were a little bit rushed in that, and we sort of said afterwards that was what we'd done well yesterday, so we'll slow it down if we get to go again.
Thanks, Chris. Well done yesterday, and hopefully get some racing today.
Thanks very much, guys.
So it is on as we are now 45 seconds away from race 5 starting. This will be the last fleet race, Stevie. So many points on the line, and we don't even know if we're going to get a final. It depends on what the wind does.
Well, Chris Draper said it. Every point counts, and never has it been more true than this race right now, because all of these teams from 6th all the way to 2nd have got a great shot at making the final. Look at the start line. Favoured position is at the downwind end of the line. Rolex Pole Predictor sits on the black foils. They need a good start more than anyone. Emirates Great Britain Britain are nervy for me out the back. Will he find a gap at the bottom end of the line? Bond's Flying Rouge well positioned here. It's all going to be about what breeze comes towards the line now. Execution, execution, execution. The black foils turn towards the line. We're looking for the line to turn white. Who's got their timing right? Oh, they're all behind the lines, and the black foils have got a great start out the middle, as of the USA. It's now a game of acceleration. Emirates Great Britain are on the back foot. It's going to require a huge comeback from them to get back in this race.
It is a huge start for the entire fleet. Brazil unable to go because of the damage incurred prior to race number 4. But look at that, across the line, the Bond's Flying Rouge, the Swiss, the French, the US.
And the US team have rolled over the top of the black foils here. We heard Blair Took say I'm a bit stalled. He'd over-flirted with that wing, stalled it, and the French left-hand side of screen have got a hull in the air, but they're not going a lot quicker for it. That drag from the foil is not helping. The Gaios at the bottom, Germany, Deutsche Bank in the middle, look like they could get towards Mark 1 in good shape, but who's going to be able to ride down and find the breeze? It's so light, and if you're behind other boats, Todd, there's really a lot of disturbed air. Los Gaios look good to me.
And on the gradual approach to mark number 1 here in race number 5, the final fleet race of the day, it looks like Spain is going to have the position.
I think Spain are going to be on the inside, and this could be the race to keep their season alive, because they're sat pretty well back on the rankings here in Geneva. But if they can get a win, Rottwell Denmark are out the back, Emirates Great Britain are out the back, the black foils are not in good shape either. This could be huge. Germany, Deutsche Bank as well, they could make the final here. If things stay as they are at Mark 1, this race for the final is going to be so interesting.
Interesting choice there from the Spanish to put an immediate jibe in. They're going to have to sail through all of the disturbed air that they've just created from sailing to Mark 1.
Must have seen more wind, Hannah, because that seems a pretty bold decision there. Lisa, what have the Spanish manoeuvred right under the fleet? Can you see more wind where they're headed?
Well, yes, there is more wind, but as Hannah was saying, to sail through that disturbed air, I'm just not really sure if it's worth it. What I'm seeing out here is we can see rain over the mountain. So as that rain comes through, this course is changing every minute. So it is really tricky because no one sailed this course before the race. I can't call it out here, so I think it's flipping a coin for the athletes too.
So right now it is Spain that have put themselves in the best position. We'll see if that early jibe will pay off. The black foils sit in second, Switzerland in third, and Germany in fourth.
Normally if you're in the lead, Todd, you don't tend to lead those decisions because what you have got is clear wind, you've got the space, you've got all the options. So leading the decision, they must be pretty confident there is more wind there. Of course, we are talking about Season 4 champions, Olympic gold medalists, Rolex World Sailors of the Year. So, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So I imagine they've probably, seen something, but you can't help but feeling they'll be very tense right now. If you can get to gate 2 in good shape, then you're in pretty good shape.
That's the right or the left? That's the left, yeah. Now we can see. I see now.
Okay, you can see the black foils. They chose to manoeuvre. They show a second at the moment. So it doesn't look bad for them, but this will still be tight. It's a massive gate. Gate 2 is huge. Those two marks are a long way apart. So again, a real opportunity to get yourself in a lot more or less wind. Top of screen, Emirates Great Britain have gained a few places, but the black foils must beat the Swiss and the Germans to be ahead of them on the overalls. They need one boat between them and Emirates Great Britain. Well, basically, we need our little race to the final to pop up in the left-hand corner fairly soon, and that will show us how the situation is live on the water. Ah, there you go. Someone's listening to us, Todd. As we can see right now, the black foils would make it in the home heroes. The Swiss would be in the finals, Todd.
And the Germans would just miss out by 1 point, as would Denmark. Emirates GBR would not make it in. Spain would also be bumped down into 6th.
Oh, it's so tight, isn't it? This is going to come down to details. Quick reminder, you've got to get to gate 3 for it to be a scoring race, and you've got to do that in the 16-minute time limit. Okay, so there's still some other little variables at play out here as the black foils have chosen to manoeuvre back towards the fleet here, probably trying to set themselves up for a right turn. And it's really tight. You can see the whole fleet absolutely neck and neck. One gust of wind, one little burst of speed, and any of these teams could jump the 50 metres that will take them from 10th all the way up to 6th. This whole fleet, look at them, 50 metres between first and 7th or 8th position.
It is worth noting that when we want to find out weather conditions, we go down to Lisa Darman and Stevie and Hannah. They have coaches on shore that are getting similar data what Lisa's getting. So, Hannah, I'm sure they're in constant communication with that onshore team.
Yeah, and that information can be really useful. I think when things are happening much slower than we're used to when the boats are up and foiling, it can be difficult sometimes for the coaches to have the same perspective, though. It's really localized pressure, and just being 10 meters left or right can put you in completely different winds. So I think the eyes on the water are what's going to be key today.
Blackfoil's made a little bit of an error there for me. They've positioned themselves on the left-hand side of our screen. We won't see it for a moment, but they've positioned themselves where the Canadians can dive inside and are entitled to room. There you go. I think Canada did have the right of way over the Blackfoils there, so that could then mean a penalty for the Blackfoils. Yes, there you go. That happened about 30 seconds ago. A positioning error, very, very rare by New Zealand. That could cost them a place in this final, though, I'm sure of that. Switzerland around. They'll be breathing a sigh of relief. Look at the rest of the pack. There's just no air there. Blankets.
The umpire's penalty, New Zealand not giving Mark room, go behind Canada.
That happened a minute out. They made an error with their line-up for the bottom gate there. Unforced error by the Blackfoils. They're going to be kicking themselves. This is going to be a massive loss of points for them. They're going to need a minor miracle on this final upwind leg if they hope to get to the finish here.
So that's Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell doling out the penalty to the Blackfoils. They have to go behind Canada now. Easier said than done as the rest of the fleet continues to progress up. And remember, to Stevie's point, the third gate is where the scoring is, and we are 10 minutes away.
This is the umpire's penalty France, not giving Mark room to Italy, go behind Italy.
It's an incident back in the pack there. Les Bleus, left-hand side of our screen there, didn't let the Italians in. And, well, Rockwool Denmark, they're out the back of the moment. So are Emirates Great Britain. This race to the final will be all on. I'm stunned the Blackfoils didn't just follow the Spanish there. Anyway, that's in the past. No point talking about history. Let's talk about now. Spanish well positioned for gate 3, and they've just got to make it there for this to be a scoring race. Huge news for the Swiss and the Germans. They could potentially make the final if it stays as it is. But again, those teams have got to execute well from here. Germany on the other side of the screen. Well, both teams up and one hull in the air. Good wind where the Spanish are.
Making the final is one thing, Hannah Diamond. Having a final is another, which is a clear possibility. If no wind fills in, they can't sail, they would suspend and take the overall standing. So right now, everyone's scrambling for those points as we are 9 minutes away from race termination here in Geneva.
I think this is us getting a scoring gate, though, Hannah, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think there'll be no problems finishing this race. But for the sailors who are racing at the moment, it's just about dealing with what you've got. You can't be thinking that far into the future, especially when the boats are so tricky to sail in these conditions. Even just turning, you can see how slow the pace of that turn was on the Spanish. They're dragging the whole length of the hull round, which really slows the boats down, but I think they'll be pretty confident from here.
Stevie, you were sailing here just a few weeks ago in Geneva, and you talked about how tricky the weather is, how it's not hour by hour, it's minute by minute. So half an hour before we came on air, there was breeze, it was blowing, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, we can see the wind's changed. It was coming from the top left-hand corner of our screen, sort of down towards the bottom. It's now coming from the right-hand side of our screen. Of course, it's being driven by rain cells. As these rain clouds move from, the wind is coming out of those rain clouds, and it's really, really shifty. So the crews are having to really think on their feet, be very, very dynamic out there on the water, and that does include, that's why we're seeing such topsy-turvy results, because it's so unpredictable, so uncontrollable. You're having to sort of take the cards you're dealt and then try and do the best you can with them. And the Spanish, well, they've been dealt a pretty good hand in this race so far, but they're playing it well right now.
So it becomes a 4-leg race here in race number 5 on Super Sunday. There you see on the left side of your screen the finish line, and again we are under race termination. 16 minutes is the max. It is officially scored race because they have completed those 3 gates, and now Los Gallos, the Spanish, the defending champions from season 4, would love to come in here and close out with a win.
Real traffic jam at the top here. Blackfoils have got to give room to Canada and Italy. Blackfoils in a horrible position in the middle of the pack there. They're really getting bounced around. It's an absolute ham in the sandwich there. They tried to give room. Rockwool Denmark are coming in. Blackfoils are going to be way out the back here. Emirates Great Britain are up to 8th. It's going to be so tight, this race to the final. Could be good breeze for the British boat there. British boat looking to accelerate. Spain are going to get the win here, Todd. Germany second, Switzerland third, and I think that could well be our top 3 boats for the final.
And there you go. The race to the final is on. The Bonsline Rouge on 34 points. Germany, Deutsche Bank would be second, and Switzerland would get in their third, just getting ahead of Emirates GBR. But
penalty Italy, not giving Mark room, go behind Canada.
If Craig Mitchell keeps doling out penalties, Stevie, it's going to change things even more.
Well, it is, and you know what? That absolutely will, because Italy got to drop back behind Canada, and GBR are 7th behind both Italy and Canada, so GBR could easily get into the position they need to make the final.
But your Emirates winning moment in race number 5 at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva goes the way of the defending champions from season 4. It is Los Gallos that gets the win in light breeze.
So I think Switzerland and Great Britain are going to end up tied on points here if I look into my mystical cloudy ball. And if that happens, it would be the Swiss, because it's who does best in the last race. Really, really tight. Swiss have got good breeze there. They might overtake the Germans. Could be crucial in the race to the final.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We are hitting the zone
So
now.
Spain gets it done in light winds, and it is all about who finishes where now as the race for points is on. Absolute salvage mode.
Wing then when we go down.
There we go. The British are going to need a little bit of a miracle here if they are going to do it. I thought they'd positioned themselves a bit better than that.
and now we go.
Switzerland, what a result for the hometown team there. Second, they're into the final.
But the USA, they could possibly be looking at a third if they can get ahead of Germany here. That would give them a 3 and a 4 on Super Sunday.
Yeah, they love these light conditions on the German boat. There's no doubt about that. That's where we saw the really perform in Event 1 dive for the finish.
And it'll be Germany Deutsche Bank that edges out US SailGP, so the Americans go 4 and 4 on Super Sunday. Good performance for them. And now the big race is on for who will get 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, and it's all about whether Emirates GBR can overtake a lot of boats into the finish. They've got good wind, they've got the right of way. I think we need to look at the points on that race to the final. I think the British would need to get to 5th if they want to make it to the final. But you can see that's probably only about 20 metres they need to gain down here. They're going to struggle to get around the French. Well, and the French are putting disturbed wind onto them as well. Giles Scott might be slow. France will probably get the Canadians here. Emirates GBR might as well, but the French being ahead of them, I think it's not going to be enough for Emirates GBR.
So France will claim 5th place, and it looks like, ooh, that's awfully close.
Oh, it's the World Athletics Championships at the moment. That was like a dip finish, wasn't it?
Canada does get 6th, 7th goes to Emirates GBR.
What a disaster of a race for the New Zealand team there. That was a hard race, but the Kiwis will be the one that are kicking themselves the most. They were in second. They made a bold coil to split the course and head to the right turn.
Lisa, Chris.
And that's going to really come back to kick
Red Bull
themselves.
Italy will get 8th place, and it looks like the Bonds Flying Rouge will hold on for 9th. We talked about them almost being a lock, Stevie, for the final. Hannah, they said we just can't finish in the bottom 2 or 3. Oh, they finished in 9th.
This is the umpires. Penalty Australia. Giving mark room to New Zealand. 5 seconds will be added after New Zealand.
So Australia are going to lose a couple of places there.
Mate, it's just gone round the mark, Craig. Look how much room they have.
Oof, they're not happy on board that Australian boat there. Oh, that was...
So the numbers still get crunched. I think Australia's still going to be okay because, remember, they had a 8 to 9 point lead going into this last race.
They did. It's going to be tight depending on how many places they lose with that penalty. If they get a 5-second penalty behind the Kiwis, that would mean they're definitely behind the Danish as well. I think they'll still be in the final.
Yep.
But you can see Slingsby's gone helmet odd, head in his hands. It's that kind of day's racing out there, Hannah. It's just so hard.
Yeah, really tricky. Just, again, once you're back in the pack, so hard to manoeuvre the boats in a way that give you an opportunity to get around boats.
And there you go. The Bonds Flying Rouge will finish with 32 points, 1 point clear of Switzerland. The home team has made it into the final, and Germany Deutsche Bank ahead of Emirates GBR by 2 points. So it's the Bonds Flying Rouge, Switzerland, and Germany Deutsche Bank who have earned a position in the final here in Switzerland.
And we take a look back at the race highlights. Going back to the start, there were pretty different starts to the last time. We didn't have any boats foiling, which just created a few more opportunities for boats, whether you're at the top, the middle, or the bottom of the line. We saw boats come off well from all those positions, didn't we, Stevie?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Spanish ended up with a slightly faster angle. They were just able to get their hull up first. And, of course, they're on the inside of the pivot here at Mark 1. So they took good control of things and made a very, very brave decision at Mark 1 here to split away from the fleet and sail back through the disturbed wind.
Yeah, so often we don't see that working, but they obviously had seen some pressure that they were really happy to split away from. It came really congested at this next gate and lots of penalties being given out. The boats are able to escape, we're able to get a little bit more space on the course, but really congested at gate 3.
I think as soon as it gets this slow, it's really hard to actually manoeuvre these boats. And Blackfoil's top of screen there, that was the incident with Canada that ultimately has cost them so dearly, because they were right in there with the Spanish. Could have done 2 more manoeuvres and followed the Spanish out of that mark. Chose to split, got it wrong, and any little mistake hurts. But Spain, with the pressure on, needed that race, Han.
Yeah, they did too little too late for the final, but good race win.
As we go down on the water now at the conclusion of the fleet racing, and we interview the team that wins race number 5. That is Los Gallos. They are the defending champions from last season. Diego Boutin, Florian Trittel, and team. Diego, it was not an easy day today, but you guys saved your best for the last in race number 5 and got a win. I know you've got to be thinking about the big picture of defending your title from last year.
Yeah, obviously we start thinking about the grand final, the options we have. We were struggling quite a bit. It was looking really bad for us before that last race, and yeah, it's amazing how things can turn over in one race, no, in SailGP. But yeah, we need to keep the focus through the season, definitely.
And Diego, how are you finding these new foils? Is it hard for you to learn the new foils and the techniques needed?
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Oh, Diego, just trying to ask you, how hard do you find these? Yeah, how hard are you finding the foils, mate? Are they very tricky to use?
Yeah, no, the opposite. I think they are a massive good thing for the league, for the racing in light stuff. Like yesterday, we were foiling in some incredible moments with no wind. Today, yeah, I guess SailGP was a bit afraid of keeping the big rudders. We changed it for the small ones, and that's why it was a bit harder than yesterday to foil. But yeah, I think it's a massive upgrade for the league.
Diego, appreciate your time. Congratulations on your win in race 5, and we look forward to your next regatta, where Spain will host the league in a matter of 2 weeks' time. So we'll take a look at 5 races and the results, and look at this. Switzerland now on 31 points as it goes official. Provisional results are now official with Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Bonds Flying Rouge both on 30. So that is the 3 teams that'll make it in Switzerland. Germany, Deutsche Bank, Bonds Flying Rouge, Emirates GBR, Los Gallos, and Rockwell Racing just missing out by a mere 5 points. So when we talk about every point matters, you go back to the first race, 5 races later. Unbelievable performance. Well done for Switzerland, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and the Bonds Flying Rouge making it into the final here in Geneva.
We have a look at the Rolex Precision Athletes of the day, and courtesy of that last start, the US SailGP team, Taylor Canfield getting really nice and close to that start line, really tricky in these conditions, and Germany did a really great job today to take the best wing trimmer of the day, didn't they, Stevie?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's a real difficult day for all the roles. Nice to see some different faces up there. It's that kind of day, very challenging. James Wabowski will get all done in about the first 2 legs of race 1 out there today. So, yeah, well deserved. Very hard day sailing, and though nice to see 3 different faces up on that Precision Athletes of the Day board.
And the DP World highest speed of the day. Didn't see a lot of high speeds today, but when they were up foiling, they were quick. Germany Deutsche Bank got it done, tipping over 50 kilometers an hour, officially going 53.2. That coming in race number 4 when the Germans got out to a great lead and went on to win race number 4. What a performance across the board. 5 races, 5 different winners. Well, the penultimate event of Season 5 is now 2 weeks away as the fleet makes the pilgrimage to a traditional spot in Spain. The final opportunity to make your case for a spot in the Grand Final has arrived at the DP World Spain Sail Grand Prix Andalusia Cadiz, and everyone will be looking for some big breeze after today's slow racing, praying that Mother Nature, Stevie, will fill in as we are powered by nature. And there is the venue from Geneva across and then down to the west coast of Spain, Cadiz, Andalusia. It will be all on with points on the line. This will be the penultimate event as everyone will then turn their attention to the finale in Abu Dhabi at the end of November.
SailGP returns to the Iberian Peninsula for an action-packed weekend at the DP World Spain Sail Grand Prix. The home team and defending champions are battling for a place in the season-defining grand final.
Team Spain goes from last to first.
Can the young Spanish team rise again against 11 world-class rivals? Don't miss what will be a defining moment of the Rolex SailGP Championship.
So that will be the last showdown before we get to the Middle East in Abu Dhabi. That's coming up, of course, October 4th and 5th, the DP World Spain Sail Grand Prix, Andalucía and Cadiz. Well, Geneva has been a fantastic host, no question about it. Still to go, it will be the final between Switzerland, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and the Bonds Flying Rouge. For those of you not staying with us, you can always go to sailgp.com to find out the latest results, but because of the weather delays, we've had to shut things down. So for Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darmanin, I'm Todd Harris. The racing continues. We'll see you in Spain. All right, so we have reached a final. For those of you who have joined us now on YouTube and sailgp.com, it is a 3-boat rally. It will be Switzerland, Germany, and Andalusia. And Australia, excuse me, the Bonds Flying Rouge. So hopefully a little wind has filled in Stevie and Hannah, and hopefully we'll get a race. We are now 92 seconds away.
Yeah, I think it's also just a little reminder here, $800,000 prize money for each of these events. So the winner of this race, $400,000 up for grabs, all the way down to $140,000 for third. So there's a lot more than just points on the line here, and it's going to come back to this next minute 15 seconds of where they can be on the start. Got to think though, Hannah, that the Australians have looked really fast. They've not given themselves a chance at the start this weekend, but an awful lot easier with just 3 boats.
Yeah, and they've had to do a lot of hard work to catch up through the fleet with their poor starts, but there's going to be a lot more space. It looks like there's quite a bit more breeze now. We've got boats foiling, so very different race track this time.
Yeah, really good breeze out there at the moment, Todd. We can see that. It's quite a long leg to Mark 1, so I think setting yourself up with quite a fast angle into Mark 1 will be key. We've got these new massive foils there. You can see them on there, the T-foils, right-hand side of our screen. They stick quite wide outside the boat. They got the Armstrong foils, artificial part, the sacrificial part on the outside, and we've seen their very glidey foils. Real foil experts have come together to make these new T-foils, and we're going to get to see them in a little bit of space. Gloves are off for the teams here. Will be a much more of a boat speed battle this race.
Yeah, and we know how quickly sailing these boats changes when we're up and foiling at these speeds. The amount that the 3 sailors are having to do on board really, really ramps up, so it's not going to be easy racing. And very different for Germany Deutsche Bank. The first time they made a final, so really exciting for them.
Press 19 to kill. Almost racing top here.
1 minute to the start of the finale here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship, coming up in 50 seconds. So the Germans have put themselves into a good position. Here come the Swiss, come flying in, and late to the party will be the Bonds Flying Rouge, but Stevie's still plenty of time.
Here we go. So Germany have turned back quite early there, and I think the Australians are late in here. I like where the Swiss have manoeuvred. Swiss have manoeuvred well. What Slingsby got up his sleeve? He's going to need to cut the corner. Has he? Here he goes. Here comes the manoeuvre from Slingsby. Can the Swiss hook him? I think Slingsby's positioned perfectly. They line themselves up for the start. Right, Germany, you need to wind it up. You need to get going fast here, Eric, because you're late. Rolex pole predictor sits on board Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Rouge. Middle of the line's the favoured place to be, but it's all about execution and timing from here. Australia's off the foils. Deutsche Germany, Deutsche Bank are foiling fast. Go for the line now. It's go, go, go. No space at the top for the Swiss. Could be a protest at the top of the line there.
Umpires, early start penalty, Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland tried to force him. That's opened the door for Germany. Deutsche Bank, Eric Heil will lead at Mark 1. Massive lead for the Germans.
And for those broadcasters that need to leave us, you can get all the results on the SailGP social channels, as well as full coverage of this finale between the Swiss, Germany Deutsche Bank, and the Bonds Flying Rouge, as it is all on here in Lake Geneva at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix. Here we go. It is Germany Deutsche Bank out in front at mark number 1. They are the Rolex sprint leaders. Switzerland trying to get back into the fight, and it is the Bonds Flying Rouge who will walk away with the 10 valuable season points. We are about to find out, but Mother Nature has filled in nicely. So for those of you leaving us, check on the internet. You'll get all the final results for Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darmanin. I'm Todd Harris. The racing continues on here in Geneva. Who is going to walk away with the big title?
Attention H2? No.
All right, so a great start at Mark 1, Stevie, and now look at this. This is what we've come to
That's a mistake
imagine.
by the Germans, Todd. They've fallen off the foils. It's light at the bottom right-hand side of our screen. Bond's Flying Rouge. Does that boat stay in the air? No, it doesn't. Oh, it's so light down in front. That's a let-off there. Had the Bond's Flying Rouge been able to foil, they could have had a chance to get back through it here, and we can see they're sailing nearly perpendicular to the course there. They need to get going straight down towards the gate. They're paralleling their way across those lines. Here we go, Biffle calls it, turning for the manoeuvre in here. This race is going to keep going though, Hannah. It's so gusty and shifty out there.
Yeah, it's by no means over. When there's so much more space on the course, you don't have that congestion which holds the middle of the fleet back. So it's definitely going to be about choosing the right mode. Do you invest in building speed and foiling, or do you sail around the course trying to sail the shortest distance?
Get it down, mate.
It looks like the Australians are going to try and sail a high course here, try and get to that 28 kilometers an hour and see if they can get on the foils, but the Swiss are coming past quick.
We are upwind here.
Yeah, it's tricky because the Swiss have got a penalty for sailing on the boundary, but the way the penalty works is it's relative to your VMG, so that's how fast you can make progress towards the next gate. And the trouble they've got is they're going so much faster than everyone else, they couldn't burn the penalty. But now the penalty's gone, and we can see the two boats right-hand side of the screen are foiling, so they're sailing a lot of extra distance, but Germany are stuck in the water. So it's, can Germany get back up on the foils? Look at the live speeds from the Oracle Cloud. 6 times as fast on the Australian boat as they are on the German boat. If the Australians can stay foiling, this distance will come down in the blink of an eye, but will the German team be able to get up and foiling again?
So the race is on to foil here in the finale. Will Australia be able to keep these speeds up? They're still on the foils right now, Stevie, and they are moving. Switzerland's behind them, but it is Germany, Deutsche Bank that have the lead. They've already gone through gate 2, the DP World Gate, and they have the lead. But look at the speed difference.
Well, I said, do we want to get foiling? I think you definitely want to get foiling if you can, but it's just a question, is there enough? Once you're foiling, Hannah, it's a lot easier to stay foiling than it is to get foiling. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, and you've got to choose the right spot for it. If you're sailing into less pressure, you might invest in getting up onto the foils and then immediately fall off. Or if you've got a manoeuvre coming up, like the Germans are coming close to that left-hand boundary now.
There we go, early here. Good pressure.
Good pressure wants to try and not follow. So Draper's saying there's more wind to the bottom right-hand corner of our screen. Australia set to manoeuvre first. Germany will match that manoeuvre, but it's going to come down. Australia should be able to execute a better manoeuvre here. They glide through the turn. They're off the foils.
Happy for everyone.
Now it's a game of re-acceleration. 28's the magic number.
28, wait for it, Tommy.
So 28's the magic number. They're there. They should start foiling. Germany is still slow. The Bond's Flying Rouge, oh, they're silky smooth in this light breeze at the moment, doing a masterful job after a very difficult start. Sailing a lot of extra distance, but they're sailing it a lot faster. How's that breeze looking, Lisa?
They're starting to roll up now, buddy.
Patchy out here where Germany is right now. They're in a good gust, so I'm expecting them to pop on the foils, but it's really coming down to these manoeuvres out here. I do think that this rain has come in and made it more patchy. Right now, Germany might just hold on.
Right turn here.
And we are about to find out here a big moment as they approach gate number 3. Remember, it's just a 4-leg race, so through gate number 3 and then off to the finish line. And we've got about a 66% chance of a first here at SailGP. Germany has never won an event. Switzerland has never won an event. The Bond's Flying Rouge, well, they've won plenty.
Here we go. They've just got one more good manoeuvre to do on board that German boat. Lisa was right. There was more wind on the German side of the course. They got foiling. They minimised the distance. Now they're heading downwind towards the finish. They're on to the final leg. They need one more good manoeuvre to make history in Season 5 of SailGP on that German boat. There will be a split though, Todd. Australia are going to roll the dice and take a left turn, but Germany, it's in their hands right now. Execute this manoeuvre, take the prize.
Yeah, they didn't quite land their last jibe, so they'll be trying to work out how they can choreograph themselves a bit better. Making sure they're manoeuvring in pressure is really important as well.
Here we go, watch this.
I go.
Yes.
I will.
Oh, Stevie, I think they've got it.
Pretty perfect.
Stage straight for the build, Eric.
They sound calm on board. They're still focused on the right thing, but that finish line's going to come fast and they're foiling. There you go. Where's the mark? That's the most important thing to know. Straight ahead's a great thing to hear.
Straight for it.
It's finished.
100 meters to go here, and it will be official, and it will be a first. Welcome to the winner's circle. The Emirates winning moment goes to the first-time winners at SailGP. Germany, take a bow.
Get in there! Get in there!
Only 3 athletes on board, Stevie, but that's all they needed.
Well, they'll be celebrating in Germany, though, won't they? We know what a big fan base SailGP's got over in Germany, and there'll be huge celebration. Eric Heil, a little bit of emotion there. Nice to see. What a result for the Germans. It's been coming. They've been knocking on the door since Sassnitz. Great result for the Australians. Yeah, a bit gutting for them, I'm sure. They just didn't get the start they needed.
Well, the one thing that might put a smile on the face of Tom Slingsby is that the Kiwis didn't make it into the final. So they're going to pick up some points in the overall on the black foils as the Aussies do make it into the final. So they will pick up the 9 points on the season. And a great run for Switzerland and Sebastian. They just did a great job, Stevie, across the weekend.
They did a fantastic job. I mean, they got a bit out of shape in that pre-start. They perhaps had a better shot at it than they then executed. So they'll be disappointed. They ended up forcing in front of the fans. But yeah, they're going to be happy with the top 3.
Han, if you're a Swiss fan of Swiss sailing, you came up for the weekend, how excited you are for this? They're in their final.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect showing from the Swiss team on the right weekend, that's for sure. And after the disappointment of reaching the final in Portsmouth and not being able to finish that race, they'll be super happy with that, I'm sure.
So the celebration can now begin as Germany Deutsche Bank, they win event number 10, the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva. Let's go down to the water and Lisa's our man.
Jump in the bell, guys.
Eric, congratulations. All the high fives are happening right now out here. First event win. Well done.
I hit the I think. Okay, say it again.
I said congratulations. What a win for your team. First event win. How does it feel?
Amazing. I mean, a little shocking as well, but really cool. Everyone is fizzing. Yeah.
How hard was that race? Obviously, foiling, not foiling, pressure was on.
I think we had a good situation after the start, but yeah, then I felt we were a bit under pressure with the people behind us foiling. But yeah, I think it's surprisingly good.
It's been a long time coming, but how special is this for the team?
Yeah, very good time for the team to get some success. They were working all really hard and really cool, really cool.
Well, I better let you go do the high fives and celebrations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pretty good report card for Germany Deutsche Bank, and you wouldn't have thought after race number 1, Stevie and Hannah, that they were going to be in the mix. They start off the campaign with a 9th, then a 7th, then a 5th. Yeah, not terrible. But on day number 2, Super Sunday, they go 1st, 3rd, and then they win it all.
Take a look back at the start, and we thought all the action was going to be coming from the top end of the line with the Swiss and the Bonds Flying Ruse. The Swiss picking up an early start penalty there, allowing Deutsche Bank Germany just to get away from that other end of the line. A really difficult task for the other two to catch up, but with these races in the light conditions, we knew that anything could happen, and it wasn't going to be easy sailing from then on, was it?
Yeah, and I think the crews were just having to learn a lot on their feet with this different setup with the big front foils and the smaller high-speed rudders on it. The boat was clearly quite unbalanced through the manoeuvres, so it was taking a lot of juggling. And yeah, I've got to say, as soon as this happened here and the German crew fell off the foils, I was thinking, oh my, oh my, oh my, opportunity for Australia, but he just didn't quite get it done.
Yeah, but the pressure was never off the German boat, was it, with the Australians right behind them, and definitely up this first upwind leg here with the Australians coming round the bottom gate, flying the boat really nicely. It must have been nervous times on board the German boat.
Nervous times, but I think when you're out in the front, you've got that ability to spot the wind. Lisa said she could see the wind coming from that left-hand side of the course, top left of our screen, and I think Germany stayed patient. And you've got to remember, Eric Heil's a 2-time Olympic medalist. Stuart Biffle's got a gold medal as well, so they're no sort of strangers to winning, but yeah, to get it done like this in SailGP's a first, and they got to be feeling pretty good about it.
What a moment for Germany Deutsche Bank as they cross the line and take the big victory here in Geneva. Emirates fly time goes the way of the home team as they stayed on those foils for 91.7% in light wind, so the technology hard at work and a great job by Sebastian Schneider and his team all weekend long.
Well, yeah, the Rolex best time start came in that final race, and the Germans, well, they delivered when they needed to. 0.532 of a second behind the gun. Perfect timing at those boat speeds by the German team.
Well, we had to wait a while for some pressure to build, but when it came, some exciting racing in the finale. And when it's all said and done, it is Germany Deutsche Bank that will lift the wheel as they will take the top prize here at the 10th event in Season 5. So the team has made it back to shore, and they will now have the opportunity in front of their fans, in front of the world media, for the first time in team history to be able to claim a victory here. Just second season in SailGP, so a great upward trajectory.
Yeah, and I think we see the whole crew lined up there, and it's easy to think there were just 3 on the boat. It's important to remember that all the people would have been inputting. When you listen into the coaches talking into the boat, the strategist Anna Bart, she still would have been able to communicate where they are on the course and talk with the sailors. So yeah, 3 were out there, but there was more than that getting it done.
And presenting the wheel today here in Geneva is Mr. Jean-Frédéric Dufour, the CEO of Rolex, and this is a big moment for Team Germany. And the wheel handoff is now complete, and now Germany, it is official, you are champions of Geneva.
There's a bit of joy there, isn't there?
That's a lot of work coming to fruition now. It has actually paid off, and now they can see the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, especially after the last couple of events where they've been so close to making that final, and then to finally get in that final and then take the win, it must feel really special.
They seem to do all right with the champagne.
They know what they're
their
doing.
First time up there. They all seem pretty keen on that one, that is for sure. There'll be some party in the German camp tonight, I'm sure of that.
So the party continues on the shores of Lac Le Mans. The Germans claim the prize, and what a performance as we now take a look at the final results here at the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva. Germany, Bonds Flying Ruse, and Switzerland, your top 3. Emirates GBR, they'll pick up 7 points. Los Gallos get the 6. Rockwell Racing, Stevie, to your point, unfortunate for Le Bleu and the Blackwells in New Zealand only picking up those 3 points. Tough going for North Star. USA SailGP picked up 2 good 4th place on Super Sunday, and then Red Bull Italy, a terrible day for Mobile Brazil with damage to their boat before the racing even got underway. So we add those points to the overall 10 events complete with 2 more to go. It is the Bonds Flying Ruse that have now surged back into the lead by 1 point, clear of Emirates GBR, and the Blackwells holding on that 3rd and final position. Now all attention is turned to Cadiz and Spain. Los Gallos, they will look to get a big win on their home waters. Le Bleu on the outside looking in as they drop back to 56 points. So now what we talked about was 5 teams battling for 3 spots. It's now really 4 teams battling for 3 spots.
Yeah, I mean, Hughes, that last race has really tightened it all up, that's for sure. You know, Slingsby's going to be the happy one out there, though. He's had a great weekend, and they look pretty imposing on these new foils.
Celebration continues here in Geneva as we are able to go down on the water as the Bonds Flying Ruse finalists in today's grand event final are being brought back to the tech area. We can visit with Tom Slingsby and his crew. Tom, the good news is you guys were in the final again. The better news is you are now in the lead in the overall standings. Take us through your weekend and how you felt about Geneva.
Geneva, I love Geneva. It's a beautiful place. I know it's raining right now and it might not look like much, but unbelievable city, unbelievable hospitality. The sailing conditions are great. We just got a little bit tough conditions, especially today, but no, a great experience here, and yeah, really thankful to be a part of it.
Tom, a few seasons ago we might have said that, you know, your one chink in your armour was in the light breeze. It feels now that you've really made a statement here compared to the teams that we anticipate you racing in Abu Dhabi. How's it feeling on board that Bonds Flying Ruse boat in the lighter breeze?
I mean, I think as you can see in these racetracks, nothing is certain, and it's not like we have a speed advantage or any team has any advantage anywhere. It's just who can link it all together, and it's really tough, and especially in conditions like those when you're sort of drifting into finish lines, anything can happen. And yeah, look, if we can improve our light air sailing, that's what we always are trying to do, so fingers crossed we're on the right track.
Tom, we'll get you headed on this. I gotta wonder how much time you guys will spend debriefing this race here in Geneva, and how much time you'll spend looking to what you'll anticipate, obviously, in Cadiz.
Yeah, obviously a lot of mistakes were made today by us, but it was tough. I mean,
yeah, like the wind's up and down and there's no wind at times, and then the race marks are moving, and we didn't know how long to the start for the final, and there's things that are always sort of on the move, and so we need to learn how to adapt a bit better, I think. Once we get our rhythm, we're pretty strong, but when things are changing all the time, I think we've got to learn to go with the flow a bit better.
Tom, appreciate your time. We will see you in Spain as the Bons Flying Roos look to get on top again. Again, the 3-time champions of SailGP looking to claim back what they think is theirs, as Los Gallos won last year. So it is all on to play as we turn our attention to Spain. Before we do that, we want to hear from the winners, and we sit it down onto the shore. What a performance and what a show by Germany Deutsche Bank.
Stuart, congratulations on your first ever event win. Just sum up what's going through your head right now.
Oh, what a fantastic day, you know. We won the first race, which was awesome, and then there was no wind, and, you know, we were wondering whether there'd be another race to try and get us in the final. We got that, and yeah, the guys, you know, head down, super focused, and yeah, absolutely smashed the final race, so awesome.
It was tricky conditions out there. How hard was the racing?
Yeah, super tricky, you know. There's times when there's holes on the race course that there's nothing much you can do about, but for sure the advantage is from the front of the fleet. And again, hats off to Eric, had a fantastic day of starting. Yeah, really put us in a position where we could go and execute a good race.
The wind eventually filled in. Was it great to get up and foiling and sending it?
Honestly, it's hard to describe how nice it is to get on the foils and over the hump, we call it, at certain boat speed. It's like the boats are machines again. It's really cool racing.
It's what they're made for. How do you build on this momentum going into Cadiz?
Yeah, you know, 2 events left of the season. You know, we've got goals to work on. We want as many podiums as we can this year, and we're leaving it late. So yeah, we're doing what we can for the next 2 events.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Big party for the Germans as the celebration continues on the same day as the Berlin Marathon. It is Germany that comes to Geneva and wins their very first event. What a performance. They get into the final against the Bons Flying Roos and Switzerland, and they emerge victorious. What a great job as the rain now starts to come in. We're able to go down on the water. Lisa Darmanin catching up with another team that was in the final. The Swiss had a great weekend, and Sebastian Schneider.
Seb, congratulations. I know you were going for the race win, but how good does a final feel at home waters?
Yeah, it feels really good. What a day. I mean, honestly, after that first race, we were not expecting to be back in the final, so it was amazing to deliver. And then, yeah, amazing last race, actually, with good falling conditions. And we quite didn't nail the start, so yeah, it was a bit hard after that. We almost had a moment to come back, but yeah, not enough. But yeah, super proud of the team, you know, delivering under pressure at home. I think it's a very good sign. And we need to do more finals and get that win.
Thanks, Seb. Congratulations.
Stevie Morrison, final thoughts, what you saw this weekend and what we should anticipate in Spain.
Exciting times with these new foils, and this event was always going to have a lot of jeopardy to it, and we saw that. There'll be a lot of teams glad to get away from here and on to Cadiz.
Yeah, and I think, you know, amazing for the Germans. We were quite critical of them early on in the season, but they've really made some changes, and they're really ramping up towards the end of the season for sure.
The Germans certainly turned that frown upside down. They start off the first day with a 9th, a 7th, and a 5th, and they turn it around with a 1st, 3rd, and a 1st. So that'll wrap things up from Geneva. For Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darmanin, I'm Todd Harris. Germany wins the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix here in Geneva, and we are off to Spain. Welcome to Geneva. There is an enthusiastic sold-out crowd on Super Sunday.
Australia missed the start!
And it is Germany Deutsche Bank that are out in front and foiling.
We're back in the game.
It is Los Gallos that gets the win in light breeze.
They're into the final. Massive lead for the Germans.
Germany take a bow.